Hello everybody out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 36 / chase race number 10 / the season finale of season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the Banquet 400 at Kansas Speedway, as we are getting set for 41 laps of racing at perhaps the best racetrack of this series. Constant passing for the lead, for position, and some great racing. But before we take a look at the starting lineup, we gotta talk about the two drivers who are going to go at it for the championship today. So, it all comes down to Joshua Sekuli and Sean Galligan. And those two drivers are separated by 15 points / 15 spots on the racetrack. As far as their statistics go, Joshua Sekuli has had 1 win this season, 5 top 5s, 10 top 10s with an average finish of 17.06. Sean Galligan, on the other hand, has had 2 wins, 6 top 5s, and 11 top 10s with an average finish of 19.29. So like I said, 15 points separate those two drivers, which is 15 spots on the racetrack because it's 1 point per position. So the scenarios, Joshua Sekuli has to have Galligan at least be 1 spot behind him. Otherwise, if Galligan can finish 15 spots or more ahead of Sekuli, then Galligan will either tie for the championship or win the championship for himself. Now, starting lineup time. Starting in the last row is Matt Haas and Trent Dunham. Top 10 in the starting lineup, Sean Galligan on the pole with Charles Belding starting next to him. Row 2 is Preston Plord, Matt McIntyre. Row 3, Charles Sanford, Seth Cole. Row 4, Sean Galligan, James Shelley. And then row 5, Zachary Fitzwater and Tim Fiegel. Joshua Sekuli will be starting 30th. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get the command to fire engines for the Banquet 400, the season finale for this series, here at Kansas.
Drivers, start your engines!
So this race is going to be very, very important for both of those guys that we mentioned, Sean Galligan and Joshua Sekuli, but every other driver in this field is definitely looking for their final win of the season to end Season 4 strong. And we know there's going to be a lot of passing going on in this race, whether it be for the lead or for position. This is going to be a rather fun race. Plus, pit strategy will be a huge factor today because I got a feeling these drivers are going to have to pit at least twice today. So we're going to see what pit strategy is going to work out if we are green flag all the way through. Pace car in the pit road as we get set to conclude Season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. Boogity, boogity, boogity! Let's go racing one more time! What an opening first lap. Preston Plord going into turn 1, making it 3 wide for the lead, and took it away from Zach Flickinger and Charles Belding. I thought we were under caution for a second, but no, we're still green. But Preston Plord's lead may not last long because right behind him is rookie Brandon Gonzalez. And he's coming down low, and to the lead goes the 23 of Brandon Gonzalez. Then right behind, Kyle Matthews trying to run up there, but here comes Dougie Shears in the 83, and then a couple other drivers coming up. Whoa, some contact almost. And we are under caution. I see the caution lights are on. Jay Jefferson was involved in whatever this was. So too was Paul Minnick and James Shelley. Oh, the points leader, Joshua Sekuli, was involved. Some driver side damage to his race car, but it doesn't look too severe, but you got to wonder if that's going to affect his race car or not, and James McLeod might have gotten involved, or he just got held up. Caution comes out for the first time today here at Kansas. Looks like some drivers are looking like they're going to go into pit road, and some are going to stay out, but it looks like Brandon Gonzalez is going to stay out, so he's going to remain your race leader. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the replay of what brought the caution out for the first time today here at Kansas. Well, here's a look at what happened. So Paul Minnick ran James McLeod way up the racetrack, and they almost went 5 wide right here, but they're 4 wide right there, and looks like Joshua Sekuli just got kind of sandwiched in between Matt Haas and James Shelley. Sekuli saved it there, but look at Minnick and Shelley right here and McLeod, and Shelley goes right up into the catch fence, riding the top of the wall and the catch fence, and right on top of the right side of Minnick's car, and McLeod went for a spin. So, and then there was a second incident that happened, and I believe that was involving the points leader, Joshua Sekuli. So we're going to go back to the 82 and see what happened here, because it also involved Jay Jefferson, actually. Let's see. Oh, contact when they were in the apron, and it looks like Cody Lamas gets into the 87 and puts him into the outside wall, and that was a pretty good lick, and then comes down into Joshua Sekuli, and Anthony McCurry. Chris Dollarton got a piece of it as well. Does Collard get into him? A little bit, but not severely. And then Dylan Thoreau hits into the 87. So a bunch of cars ended up getting a little bit of cosmetic damage in the aftermath with the contact between Jay Jefferson and Cody Lamas. And Joshua Sekuli, the points leader, was involved in both wrecks that occurred. But yeah, who knows what's going to happen after that. But let's go ahead and take you to the restart here at Kansas. And we have a huge development here. There was some accidents that happened on pit road, and one of the drivers involved was Sean Galligan. So Galligan is done for today, as well as Zach Flickinger, James Qualls, Charles Sanford, and Jay Jefferson, with Kyle Matthews a lap down. So that pretty much wraps up the championship, because Galligan's going to finish behind Sekuli, who's still on the racetrack. So Joshua Sekuli might have gotten that championship clinched up after probably a miscue on pit road with a lot of drivers, or they ended up hitting one another and damaging their cars to the point where they're no longer able to continue. So it's a tough break for Sean Galligan that he ended up done for because of an accident out of his control on pit road. But the top 10 when we get back to racing is Brandon Gonzalez, Preston Plord, Dylan Thoreau, Dougie Shears, Dylan Young, Rafael LeDuc, Zachary Fitzwater, Devin Becker, Carson Gum, and Benjamin Miles. But man, I can't believe that happened. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it. And whoa, Kyle Matthews, where'd he come from? Matthews, who is trying to get back caught up, and he goes back around the leaders, and now should be back on the lead lap now. So now Kyle Matthews is hoping for a quick caution so he can get back to the tail end of the longest line to get back to racing for positions properly. But man, like I said, I didn't get to see what happened with all those drivers out of the race because of an accident on pit road. But it unfortunately takes out Sean Galligan from the championship. And Joshua Sekuli ends up taking it now after all that took place. Because, yeah, Galligan needed to finish 15 spots ahead or more over Sekuli to get the championship, but he's going to end up finishing behind Sekuli, so Sekuli's got the championship wrapped up. Doesn't matter what happens to him now, he's basically got it. But we still got the Rookie of the Year to settle as well as this race to settle. But right now, Brandon Gonzalez starting to he kind of was starting to pull away a little bit from Preston Plord, but Preston Plord was kind of held up because of Kyle Matthews. But Matthews, he's up to speed. He probably had to come into pit road twice, and that's what happened. But Matthews still up here racing. But Brandon Gonzalez right now has a slim lead over Preston Plord as some drivers are trying to get around Kyle Matthews to get themselves back going on the racetrack. Tim Fiegel, DJ Curtis were amongst them. As we got 30 laps to go here in the finale at Kansas. Meanwhile, we got a battle for second that's getting ready to ensue. Preston Plord has the spot, but Dougie Shears wants that spot. But just imagine how big would this be for Red Bull Racing if Dougie Shears could win the race at the same time of Joshua Sekuli winning the championship. That would be something. However, next season, Dougie Shears will be going back to just being a single-car driver for Red Bull Racing, as Joshua Sekuli will be moving back to the number 11 car for Season 5. But man, look at Dorian Facepuncher. Where in the world did he come from? Look at that run he's got. He was over 0.7 of a second behind the last lap, and look at the speed of that car. He is catching Brandon Gonzalez fast. He was able to gain more than 6.5 tenths, or 5.5 tenths, on that last lap, and now here he comes for the lead. Gonzalez slows down. I don't know if it's because he was running a higher groove or if he's coming into pit road. No, I think it was because he took the high side, and that's what cost him. And plus, Facepuncher's just got a very, very, very fast race car right now. Speaking of fast cars, here comes another one, Dylan Jacobs, who unfortunately couldn't make it to this point of the chase to battle for the championship, but he at least made the chase. But he definitely wants to conclude this season on a high note by getting his 3rd win of the season, to be the first and only driver this season to go 3 wins. Right now he's on the right path to doing that as he's about to come underneath of Brandon Gonzalez. Oh, contact! Little bit of contact right there. But Jacobs does take the spot, but DJ Curtis is right there on the back bumper of the 78. Now it's turned into a 3-car fight for second as Brandon Gonzalez is trying to come back and take that spot. But when we get to lap 20, we're going to be taking a commercial break. But we'll still have live action on the bottom of your screen. But man, things are getting really, really racy up here. Dorian Facepuncher with a fast car, as to does Dylan Jacobs. Speaking of other fast cars, here comes Anthony McCurry, and where in the world was he? I don't think he restarted in the top 10, and he's up here to 4th. Meanwhile, whoa, look at the run Brandon Gonzalez just got on Dylan Jacobs. That was a huge pass for second. There's a car damaged and off the pace, and that's James Shelley. I kind of expected that after he went up into the catch fence, but I'm kind of surprised that he's still going. Paul Mennick, on the other hand, he's also off the pace because of damage sustained during that first caution. And now look at Brandon Gonzalez. He's one to take that lead back from Dorian Facepuncher, and to the front once again goes to 23. DJ Curtis on the move to try to get up to the front, up to 3rd. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and take our commercial break. We'll be right back. Live action will be on the bottom of your screen, but we'll be right back. no, Dylan, don't you do it. Don't LePage the field. Please think about it. Think about your friends. Think about the other drivers in the field. You're probably going to get them all to hate you and you won't be loved ever again. No, don't do it, Dylan. No! Why did you LePage the field, Dylan? Why? Why? Attention Marvel Studios Cup Series drivers. Do not LePage the field under any circumstances, otherwise everyone's gonna hate you. Hey, dramatic commercials sell, baby. Yes! Hey you, are you tired of watching stupid YouTubers like the Paul brothers?
Yeah!
Well then, check out the Kamikaze Games YouTube channel. If you want to watch classic gameplay videos like these...
Fucking stupid cocksucking apron! Why is that a thing?! The fucking banana peels are real! Oh, shit, now bananas everywhere I go!
If you want to see racing videos like these...
Can there be one good race this year? That's all I fucking ask.
Ty Dillon's calling me out! Oh, man!
Worthless ass, shitty fucking racing package. Get this shit the fuck away from anywhere near the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
It's the same song and dance every single week. Why do I even care? It's so fucking dumb.
Or if you want to watch classic raging like these...
It was the god damn motherfucking engine of all the things!
You did no research! Goddamn fucking Joey Logano won the goddamn fucking Daytona 500! Fuck! Are you fucking serious? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Are you fucking serious? God fucking damn it, Matt Tift! You fucking absolute failure of a fucking driver! You can't fucking drive! No! 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 Fuck you! Ah!
Then what are you doing? Go check out the Kamikaze Games YouTube channel. To find the Kamikaze Games YouTube channel, just go to youtube.com and type in the search bar Kamikaze Games. That is spelled Kamikazegames. Check him out right now, otherwise he will come to your house and punch you in the face. That is Kamikaze Games. Kamikaze Games. I'm so glad I found this guy. He cracks me up. Thank you. Thank you, YouTube masters. So the question on everybody's mind is, what would you do for a Snickers bar? Dude, I can't talk right now. I'm doing a commercial for Snickers, for fuck's sake. Would you stab yourself in the penis? Oh, I don't have a dick anymore. Worth it. What would you do for a Snickers bar? Welcome back to live action here at Kansas for the season finale of the Marvel Studios Cup Series, as we're under caution for the second time for this wild wreck. Watch this. So, Matt McIntyre and Charles Belden get together coming off of pit road, and the 32 basically flat out turned the 00 up the racetrack and in the path of Preston Plord, and because the 24 hit both cars, sent all three cars either up in the air or flipping. As look at this. Belding goes on his side, while Matt McIntyre ends up going upside down. Well, Belding actually goes for a barrel roll after all that chaos. But I tell you, the driver who got the most lucky out of this, watch Chris Dollerton drive his way past. He's stuck on committed on the outside, and the wreck is on the outside, and watch him avoid all three cars. Nearly hits the 00 and the 24, and gets through unscathed. That is absolutely insane. We're actually going to take an onboard with the 22. Onboard with Chris Dollarton. Wreck is already happening. Watch him drive by. Man, he was so close to hitting cars. So close. Well, after that second caution, 3 more cars are done for the day. Charles Belding, Preston Plord, and Matt McIntyre. And because the caution came out at a timely manner for a lot of drivers who were on pit road, we've got a shuffled up field. However, those drivers that are in the top 6, they're in the back of the field. And those top 6, Dylan Poteet is your race leader. Second, Dylan Young. Third, Rafael Leduc. Fourth, Seth Cole. Fifth, Dougie Shears. And sixth is Jonathan Zorline. So could this be the day Zorline finally gets a top 10 this season in the finale? That would be really cool. Then the rest of the top 10 are up here at the front of the field. Dorian Facepuncher 7th, 8th DJ Curtis, 9th Brandon Gonzalez, 10th Dylan Jacobs. But we're going to watch up here at the front because you got double file restarts up here because a bunch of the lap down or multiple lap down or slow machines are going to be restarting on the bottom. But I'm going to keep my eyes on the 71 and the 9 because they're off the pace. And the caution is lifted and we're back underway at green flag. And I got a bad feeling this is not going to end pretty. Unless the slow cars get out of the way properly. But we got a battle for the lead back here. Rafael Leduc's going to go by Dylan Young because of the slower traffic getting in the way. Move the 77 up to the lead. But I've got a feeling the wrecking is not concluded yet. I think we're going to have maybe one more caution before the end of the race. And if that happens, the complexity of this race will get shaken up even bigger. Or even more, I should say. Rafael Leduc has the lead, but Dylan Young, Seth Cole, Dougie Shears, they are approaching pretty quickly. As they're trying to work their way around lap traffic. As Leduc leads with 11 laps to go. Rafael Leduc is the only driver who made the chase this season without a win. So he's definitely looking to try and get that win here today. But he's going to have to hold off a charging Dylan Young. Is actually Brandon Gonzalez, who is up there in the top 10. He's losing a ton of ground, and now he's a lap down. See how many cars are ahead of the leader. Still a good amount, but not a whole lot. And Leduc's working his way around very well. And because of this, it's kind of affecting Dylan Young's speed to try and get to the 77. Although Leduc went on the apron there a little bit, and that kind of slowed his momentum down, but Dylan Young did the same thing. So it's still less than 0.3 of a second. But look at Dylan Young. He's going to go underneath of Carson Gump. Can he get underneath Leduc? Yes, he does. To the lead goes Dylan Young in the 2 car. Rafael Leduc, he needs to try and get back to the bottom if he's going to be able to have a shot at catching up to the 2 car. And he does, and he's coming hot too. Dylan Young, on the other hand, he is trying to go for his 3rd win of the season, to be the only driver and the first driver this season to get 3 wins in Season 4. Dougie Shears, on the other hand, who's in 3rd, he's trying to ruin the party for those 2, but he's still got to work around 2 more lap cars. But man, this is going to be crazy if the leaders can lap the majority of the field. And there's your champion, Joshua Sekuli, who got that driver's side damage repaired. He's already your champion because of what happened to Galligan in the beginning. And now Leduc takes the lead back. And Leduc's got 5 more cars to get around. He's got to get around Kyle Matthews, Zachary Fitzwater, DJ Curtis, and now John Cittadino. So only 4 cars left that LeDuc needs to get around to pretty much have the majority of the field lapped, other than the rest of the drivers in the top 6. But Dylan Young, he's not going to give up easily, as we are now at 5 to go here in the Banquet 400 at Kansas. LeDuc got a little bit held up there by Cittadino, and Cittadino goes by Zachary Fitzwater, and that's not only to stay on the lead lap, but that was for position. That was for the 8th spot right there. Now LeDuc's just got to get around Cittadino and Matthews, and the top 6 will be the only ones on the lead lap if that's the case. But look at the run Cittadino's getting. He is trying to find his way around Kyle Matthews, and that is for the 7th spot. So not only are those 2 drivers trying to battle to stay on the lead lap to the end of the race, but they're also battling for the 7th position right now, as LeDuc has a lap car between himself and second place Dylan Young, and that's Zachary Fitzwater. But LeDuc having a tough time trying to get around Cittadino as he's stuck on that back bumper. But meanwhile, Dylan Young actually got passed by Carson Gum, so that helped LeDuc's chances out a little bit there. Now LeDuc finally gets a run underneath of the 72. Now he's just got 1 car left to try and get around, and that's Kyle Matthews, who is 7th. LeDuc's trying to get that run into the corner on the 42, and he is there. So basically the top 6 will be the only ones on the lead lap. White flag is getting ready to be displayed to conclude Season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. Rafael LeDuc, who has been winless all season and currently the only driver in the chase without a win. That's all going to change because he's got a huge margin over second place Dylan Young and numerous lap cars in between. Getting ready to come out of turn 4 for the final time this season. Checkered flag waving. Rafael LeDuc wins the Banquet 400 at Kansas. A timely caution helped him finally this season get that win that he's been longing for all season long. What a job by that 77 team. But let's look at the rest of the results. The rest of the cars that finished on the lead lap. Dylan Young was so close to getting his 3rd win of the season, but concludes his season on a high note with a 2nd place finish. Seth Cole with a phenomenal run in 3rd. Dougie Shears finishing out in 4th. And Dylan Poteet finishes 5th. And finally, after a struggle, nightmare of a season, Jonathan Zorline finally got a top 10 finish, finishing in the 6th position. Good run for him. Then the rest of the top 10 and starting throughout our cars a lap or more down are done for today. But John Cittadino was the highest finishing rookie in the 7th spot. Zachary Fitzwater with a great run in 8th. Kyle Matthews came back to get a top 10 in 9th. And Carson Gum finishing out in the 10th spot. Rest of the top 20, Benjamin Miles, Alex Ferranti, the champion Joshua Sekuli, William Brock, Trent Dunham, Anthony McCrory, Tim Fiegel, Johnny Gardner, Dorian Facepuncher, Dylan Jacobs. Rest of the top 30, Brandon Gonzalez, Joshua Collard, Devin Becker, Matt Haas, Cody Lamas, Emmanuel Hartnett, Jessica Shelton, James McLeod, Paul Minnick, Chris Dollarton. Then the rest of the lap down cars that finished were James Shelley, Pichu London, Dylan Thoreau, and DJ Curtis. Everybody else was out of the race after all the chaos. Charles Belding, Preston Plord, Matt McIntyre, Sean Galligan, Zach Flickinger, James Qualls, Charles Sanford, and Jay Jefferson. That does it for our coverage today at Kansas, and that does it for Season 4 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. Thank you all so much for tuning in, even throughout all of the breaks and vacations and all the difficulties, we finally managed to get through season 4. Granted, 2.5 months too late, but we still got through. However, the next season, as well as Amazon Prime Trucks and Domino's NXT series, will not begin until around early to mid-November. So we've got a long break to catch our breaths and get things ready for next season. But until we get to season 5, here are your final results, final rookie points, and final regular points of the season. Thank you all so much for watching. I am Levi McIntyre, signing off, and I will see you in a couple months.